Having worked on ReInHerit for 2 years now, I'm delighted that my colleagues and I can share the results of our thoughts on the project with you tonight. It will be my task to lead you through the next hour. We have prepared videos that will give you an insight in the exhibitions and the collection, and we'll have a small chat on the project with all the participating colleagues. So what is ReInHerit about? ReInHerit, the overall project is an EU Horizon 2020 project that aspires to disrupt the current status quo of communication, collaboration, and innovation exchange between museums and cultural heritage sites. How is it done? By connecting professionals across these fields and supporting them in presenting Europe's tangible and intangible heritage to citizens and tourists. Our part of the project was the following. In a collaborative process, the Graz Museum, together with the Museum of Cycladic Art in Athens and Bank of Cyprus Cultural Foundation in Nicosia, developed a concept for 3 modular traveling exhibitions, 3 digital exhibitions, and a growing digital collection. We are 3 museums, as you will see, with 3 very different collections, both in terms of content and temporal focus. This diversity was a challenge and an opportunity at the same time. We were forced to find themes for the exhibitions that are universal in a certain sense. It means that they could also be interesting to other museums and for which there could be also objects in other collections. In an intensive online co-creation process, we really never have met as a team in person. We identified 3 themes of common interest. This was conflicts, craftsmanship, and identities. Based on the results of a survey, which was also part of the ReInHerit project, we defined 3 main premises. The focus would be on a younger audience, 18 to 35 years old, who is familiar with digital tools and who wants to use them also in exhibitions, meaning that they also expect at least some interaction with the content. This ties in very well with the project's claim, make it your own. Second, the traveling exhibitions, which are meant to be hosted and adapted also by other museums, have to be affordable to smaller and medium-sized museums, which of course limits technology use. And third, we defined that the objects would not travel. Therefore, we had to find an innovative and low-cost way of creating digital representations of the analog objects. This may sound a little abstract to you. In order to illustrate the concept, we'll show you a video of the exhibition at the Museum of Cycladic Art on the theme Rethinking Identities.
Το ευρωπαϊκό έργο ReInHerit χρηματοδοτείται από το ευρωπαϊκό πρόγραμμα Horizon 2020 της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης. Ο στόχος του έργου είναι η συνεργασία μουσείων και φορέων πολιτισμού από όλη την Ευρώπη. Παράλληλα, το έργο στοχεύει στο να φέρει τους νέους και τις τοπικές κοινωνίες πιο κοντά στα μουσεία και τους χώρους πολιτισμού μέσω ενός δημιουργικού διαλόγου. Το Μουσείο Κυκλαδικής Τέχνης, το Μουσείο του Γκράτς στην Αυστρία και το Πολιτιστικό Ίδρυμα Τράπεζας Κύπρου στη Λευκοσία συνεργάστηκαν και ανέπτυξαν 3 θεματικές εκθέσεις υπό τον τίτλο ReThinking.
θέμα της έκθεσης είναι ταυτότητες, φύλο, διαφορετικότητα, διακρίσεις. Κάθε ένα από τα 3 μουσεία που συμμετέχει στην έκθεση παρουσιάζει ένα έργο σε ψηφιακή μορφή. Η μεταφορά των 3 αντικειμένων, που στην πραγματικότητα δεν έγινε, υπονοείται από τα 3 ξύλινα κουτιά. Τα αντικείμενα πάνω στα κουτιά είναι αντίγραφα. Από το Μουσείο Κυκλαδικής Τέχνης παρουσιάζεται ένα μαρμάρινο κυκλαδικό ειδόλιο γυναικείας μορφής. Τα μαρμάρινα ειδόλια αποτελούν τη σημαντικότερη δημιουργία της κυκλαδικής τέχνης και είναι από τις πιο πρώιμες αναπαραστάσεις της ανθρώπινης μορφής. Η θέση της γυναίκας στην 3η χιλιετία στις Κυκλάδες, καθώς και ο ρόλος των ανδρών και των γυναικών δεν είναι γνωστή, μια και δεν υπάρχουν καθόλου γραπτές πηγές. Την ξεχωριστή θέση της γυναίκας επιβεβαιώνει το γεγονός ότι το 90% των ειδωλίων είναι γυναικεία. Από το Μουσείο του Γκράτς παρουσιάζεται η αυτοπροσωπογραφία της ζωγράφου Ίντα Σοφία Μάλι, που απεικονίζει τον εαυτόν της ως γκαρσόν, μια γυναίκα με αγορίστικη όψη, κοντά μαλλιά, πουκάμισο και γραβάτα. Η Μάλι είχε ενταχθεί σε ένα περιβάλλον καλλιτεχνών που αμφισβητούσε τους συμβατικούς ρόλους των φύλων τη δεκαετία του 1920. Από το Πολιτιστικό Ίδρυμα της Τράπεζας Κύπρου παρουσιάζεται ένα ειδόλιο από πορόλιθο, ο υπηρέτης του ναού, που χρονολογείται στον 4ο αιώνα π.Χ. Αγαλματίδια, όπως αυτό, φαίνεται πως χρησιμεύαν ως αναθήματα σε ανδρικές θεότητες. Σύμφωνα με μια ερμηνεία, οι προσφορές αυτές αντιπροσωπεύουν την επιθυμία για αρσενικούς απογόνους, μια προσδοκία χαρακτηριστική σε πολλούς πολιτισμούς ακόμα και σήμερα.
Στο πλαίσιο της έκθεσης έχει σχεδιαστεί μια ειδική διαδρομή με τίτλο «Ταυτότητες φύλου». Ο επισκέπτης σκανάρει κώδικες QR σε επιλεγμένα εκθέματα και μαθαίνει για το φύλο, τη διαφορετικότητα και τις διακρίσεις στην αρχαία εποχή. Οι διακριτοί ρόλοι των φύλων υπήρχαν στην κοινωνία από τους προϊστορικούς χρόνους μέχρι και τον σύγχρονο κόσμο. Αν και δεν είναι εύκολο να εξάγουμε συμπεράσματα για τον ρόλο των ανδρών και των γυναικών στην πρωτοκυκλαδική κοινωνία, μπορούμε ωστόσο να υποθέσουμε ότι οι άνδρες και οι γυναίκες κατήχαν διαφορετικούς αλλά εξίσου σημαντικούς ρόλους. Χαρακτηριστικά ανδρικά ειδόλια είναι των κυνηγών ή πολεμιστών και των μουσικών. Οι ενήλικες άνδρες είχαν ως κύρια απασχόληση την ανάπτυξη της πολεμικής τέχνης. Οι γυναίκες από την άλλη ήταν αυτές που προσέφεραν σπονδές, αποχαιρετώντας το γιο ή τον σύζυγο στις πολεμικές επιχειρήσεις. Οι άνδρες μπορούσαν να ανήκουν σε μία τάξη, να συμμετέχουν σε συμπόσια, να παίρνουν αποφάσεις και να ψηφίζουν.
Thank you very much, Marina, Eleni, and Nefeli. What a wonderful, great video, which really very nicely illustrates the project and the exhibition derived out of it, but also your wonderful collection. I really regret that I can't be with you and see this exhibition in person. So for you as a team, this was not the first EU project, and I was wondering how this project we did together is different compared to the other projects you have done so far. And I think Marina Plati is going to talk with me and to give me an answer.
Thank you. Thank you all for everything. The ReInHerit project was an exciting new experience for me personally and the entire team of the Museum of Cycladic Art, which was involved in the project. In the past, we had participated as partners in the implementation of projects funded by the European Union in the framework of the Erasmus Plus and Creative Europe programs. These projects were focused on accessibility, inclusion, and self-assessment in the field of museum and cultural heritage management. ReInHerit's focus on innovation, new technologies, and co-creation was one of the elements which made this project different. Apart from that, as a Horizon 2020 project, ReInHerit emphasized the importance of research outcomes which were applied in all the deliverables we produced. Our museum is very experienced in hosting archaeological and contemporary art exhibitions. Our department, the Department of Educational and Community Programs, is also very experienced in the production of educational material, workshops, and actions promoting cultural heritage, mostly among kids and teenagers. In the ReInHerit project, we had the opportunity to put our blend of skills to great use, utilize our network and experts in different fields, and participate in a very interesting experiment. We had the opportunity to participate in the production and testing of cultural products, which were directly linked to the ReInHerit research outcomes, be innovative, flexible, and at the same time embrace the co-creation principle with museums with different collections, themes, and working procedures. Of course, all EU projects are based on the principle of collaboration by all participating partners. However, co-curating 3 thematic exhibitions with 3 other museums has been a sometimes challenging but always rewarding experience, which we had not experienced in the past as partners in other projects funded by the European Union. It was the first time that we had to collaborate so closely with other partners for all stages involved in the development of traveling and digital exhibitions, as well as the digital collection, among other deliverables. I would also like to stress the importance of the legacy of the ReThinking exhibitions and the project in general, which gives a unique opportunity to many other smaller organizations and cultural heritage professionals to organize such an exhibition, enrich their knowledge through the resources of the project, and become part of a diverse network all over Europe. ReInHerit offers that on a larger scale compared to other EU projects, and this is what makes it distinctive. Now, before closing, I would like to thank you all for your excellent collaboration and support. I believe that this partnership was an opportunity for everyone to learn and grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marina, and thank you for stressing also the importance of collaboration and co-creation. And I think in such a project, you can have on one hand technical innovation, but I think you can have also social innovation. And I think we definitely have gained a lot by this opportunity. And thank you to you and all the others that you have put up with this way of working together. Thank you so much. So we have a first question on the chat, which I would like to ask you immediately. Is the question was an admiration for the wonderful video, and where can it be seen after the webinar? So is it going to be posted somewhere?
Yes, both in the ReInHerit site, of course, of the hub, and also in the web page of the museum.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think we just go on and see the second video on rethinking craftsmanship. Thank you very much. This was the video by Bank of Cyprus Cultural Foundation. Sorry for that. Irini, welcome. When looking at this video, I realize what a wonderful opportunity it is to get to see and to know objects we wouldn't be able to see in our museums without traveling. And it's really amazing how fantastic the objects are, which you put into, which we are going to see in the project. Irina, you came to the team at a quite late stage, but with an experience an experience in education. So I was wondering how this background influenced your work on the exhibition.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I think mostly my background influenced how we put the narratives together when you're trying to teach someone something, when you're trying to relay information. The most helpful thing is constructing a story, a cohesive narrative that the audience can follow. And I think in the context of these exhibitions, what was interesting that each institution had the autonomy to select the object without instruction or pressure from the other. So basically, we had to take chapters given to us by others to build this story. We got objects from different museums, different mediums, different time periods. And I think the process to contextualize them all harmoniously, locate their historical, their cultural, their social context, and embed it into social issues, craftsmanship, conflicts, identities. That was a really interesting process that I think was informed with from my past in education. We had to find which threads we wanted to pull on in order to kind of reveal these stories. And also to that, I want to say that we created multiple ways to interact with the exhibitions. We have the online exhibitions, we have the interactive projections, we have the haptic stations. It's widely understood that learning comes through a different variety of ways. There's not one way to learn something. And in our effort to make it interactive, we also made it easier for people to kind of grasp what we were trying to convey. And lastly, I wanted to say that in a museum setting, we're not looking for correct answers. We're looking for perspective. And I think this is most apparent in the questions that we included in the introduction and the outro of all the exhibitions. We gave visitors the opportunity to place themselves in the narratives and allow for more personal interpretations of the objects that would maybe not seem so personal to them in the first place. We tend to, when we learn about something, we think of it in isolation, but conflicts, identities, and craftsmanship are universal topics. So having the opportunity to draw these connections, whether they be visual or theoretical with these objects between different countries in Europe, has helped broaden not only our own understanding of these topics, but connect us to others, whether that be museums or individuals. So I would say that's how my background has influenced that process. And I just want to say thank you to both the Graz Museum and the Museum of Cycladic Art for this collaboration, and express my excitement for the exhibitions and how they will unfold in the year to come. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Irini. You mentioned also the intro and the outro station. I think Helene, who will present to us the digital exhibitions, which were also developed in the project. I think you will also touch on that, because that's also part of the digital exhibitions. So Helene, please go ahead. We're quite curious what the digital exhibitions look like.
Yes, good evening, everyone. As was mentioned before, the project ReInHerit also included the development of 3 digital exhibitions. We had a couple of goals for these digital exhibitions, and some challenges that came also with those goals. And One of the main goals we had was to really make the digital exhibitions an interactive experience, to give the viewers and visitors the chance to not just passively receive information, but also to engage with the objects, interact with the objects, and create multiple ways of making the visitor an active participant in the digital exhibitions. I would like to share my screen and show you, first of all, how to get to the digital exhibitions from the digital hub, which you will find the digital exhibitions in this Discover menu. And then you have the 3 digital exhibitions which you can enter. And when you enter them, it takes you into the intro questions that were mentioned before. And the intro and outro stations, which we also have in the traveling exhibitions, are the first kind of avenue to give the viewer or visitor a chance to interact with the content of the exhibition. So we designed intro questions for all of the 3 thematic areas, which really get the viewer or invite the viewer and visitor to develop a standpoint or a perspective on the 3 thematic areas that we chose for the digital exhibitions. And I'm not going to answer the questions on screen now, but I'm going to show you what it looks like once you've answered all of the questions. So when you're inside the exhibition, you have minimal text, which was also something that we were trying to achieve in the digital exhibitions, to not rely too much on text, but to have a focus on images, on interactive tools, and not just too much text information, because we really wanted to find a more engaging way to relay the information. So you have this overview of the objects that are the key objects in the digital exhibitions, and you can go into a sub-page for each of the objects, and I will show you what it looks like inside of one of those sub-pages. You can see that there's the first small little piece of text, and then we go right into another interactive application where you can freely choose what you want to learn about the object. We have another interactive tool underneath that, which is kind of a more playful way to engage with the topic of identities, where you can dress up your own cyclatic figurine, which is one of my personal favorite activities in the digital exhibitions. And then you also have the 3D objects, which was another important part of the digital presentations in the digital exhibitions as well as the traveling exhibitions. So apart from just having images, we also have the 3D objects in every digital exhibition that has 3-dimensional objects. And one of the biggest challenges was to find ways of making the digital exhibitions interactive with the tool constraints, and also with some of the budget constraints that we had, because we had to find ways of making the exhibitions interactive without relying on tools that would not be sustainable, without relying on tools that would not be available in a couple of years. Unfortunately, when you rely on external platforms to create digital interactive content, sometimes the platforms are discontinued, you don't have access to the materials anymore, and you will not have your interactive stations anymore once the platforms go out of business. So that was one big challenge for us, and we managed to find a way in working with H5P, which is a special online tool format that allows you to store your content locally also. And then, of course, we had to find a way that was not too expensive. We had to find a way that would be accessible also for smaller museums. And that's also one requirement that H5P was able to fulfill. And I think that we found a good way of incorporating the interactive elements in the end. As I stop sharing my screen, I want to put the link to the digital exhibitions page into the chat so that you can go directly there if you're interested in that.
So thank you very much, Helene. I think the digital exhibitions show that you can have interesting information on cultural heritage at the same time. There can be also playful elements. When we started to prepare the digital exhibitions, we had the look at other digital exhibitions, found best practice examples. What do you think is the difference between the examples we found, we viewed, compared to what we developed in the project? What do you think?
I think the biggest difference really is the focus on the interactive activities. I think a lot of digital exhibitions rely on static information. Sometimes there are no concepts of how to, as you said, make the content a bit more gamified, so to say, or to take it away from pure information conveying. And I think that's one of the main things that we were able to achieve with the interactive tools that we incorporated into the digital exhibitions.
Thank you very much. I think we were quite lucky that we got you as a team member with your background also in digital humanities, and I think this really helped a lot. Thank you, Helene. I would like to step on. In addition to the digital exhibitions, we have also another digital format. We have the digital collections. We invite museums and cultural heritage institutions to become a part of a Europe-wide cultural heritage network. Right now, we are focusing on objects which contribute to our three topics: identities, conflicts, and craftsmanship. We are aiming to get a large number of objects for the collection to see diversity and multifaceted perspectives on the topics. Antonia, who is the digital curator and also was also very important for the concept of the whole project, cannot present tonight, unfortunately, but she sent us a video which is going to take us through the digital collection.
Hello, my name is Antonia Musmel, and I'd like to show you the ReInHerit digital collection. As you can see on the landing page, there are all the contributed objects, and they're contributed by a lot of museums and cultural heritage sites from all over Europe. You have the possibility to filter them by thematic areas, conflicts, identities, or craftsmanship, or by categories, for example, gender or identity. And then you have the possibility to take a closer look at the museums or cultural heritage sites that contributed the objects and where they are. For example, I show you something from the Graz Museum. You can scroll into the map and take a look at the 3 contributed objects. For example, this one, the trade bill chest. And if you click on see more, you get more information on the object, of course. And you can as well see a 3D model in our 3D viewer. It gives you the possibility to rotate it and take a closer look at it as well. You can zoom in and have the possibility to see what's in this chest, for example. And if you like to learn more about craftsmanship, for example, this thematic area, you can click on it and you're landing directly in the ReInHerit digital exhibition. Thanks for your attention.
Yeah, thank you, Antonia. We already, Helena was so kind to put the link on the chat if you're interested. We kindly invite you to contribute. You will see when you click on the link, it's not so difficult to upload an object. And as I said before, the more objects we have, the more diverse the collection is and the more interesting I think it will get. We have still one more exhibition, Rethinking Conflicts, which we are showing right now in the Graz Museum. I think what we haven't said so far is that after a while, we are going to change the exhibitions. So all three museums are going to show all three of the exhibitions. Katalin, I would ask you to show us the video first, please.
Clay vessels with a lid and were used for placing and safekeeping women's jewelry and cosmetics.
Chypre. Between 1423 and 1718, the eastern Mediterranean was a region of conflict and a battleground in a total of 8 Ottoman-Venetian wars.
The Cherry security guard. Rumors of a demonstration getting out of hand on Kaiser Joseph Platz had already reached us when we were called together at the station house on Monday, the 7th of June, 1920.
Yeah, thank you, Katalin, for the video. I think what it illustrates is the digital representations of the objects we have in the room. And I was wondering whether visitors could ask themselves whether they need to come still to the museum if you have these digital representations, whether they would ask themselves whether they could stay at home and see them on the screen. So why is it still worthwhile to come to the museum and see the digital representations there in the room?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Willem. I think it's a very good question because since we have this nice digital exhibition as well. But I have to go one step back actually and also just briefly touch on why we actually only exhibit digital objects. Because original objects they have a special atmosphere which can't be reproduced or created by digital objects. But on the other hand, these digital objects also have another quality and potential actually to create new possibilities for museum experience. And the initial aim was to create three traveling exhibitions. But what can be done if some of the original objects can't travel, because this would endanger the preservation of the original object. So this aspect itself actually already tells the problem or the issue with working with original objects, because and it actually fosters us to work more and more with digital objects to protect and preserve cultural heritage. Obviously, we won't vanish original objects from museums. There's no doubt that original objects are very important. But still it also shows that we need or we can have new approaches on exhibiting and curating exhibitions. So coming to your question now, these three theme-based exhibitions have very unique experiences which cannot reproduce on a screen. You really have to go into the exhibition space to get this kind of immersive experience. The exhibition is almost, or the exhibition format we created is almost only, or it is interactive and almost only auditory, auditory. And it consists of, like every exhibition consists of 3 stations, which can be reduced or extended by other institutions who are interested to take over the exhibition concept. And every object, and that was also an initial idea, is in the center stage and tells its own story. So not only one perspective is told, I think Eleni tackled that already, but several perspectives are told. And yeah, through this narrative, the object places its context, and it's not compared or contrasted to other objects. So yeah, but more important is actually to mention the arrangement and the space concept itself on the exhibition. What is so special about it? It's the way of interacting with this digital objects, and also the representation of the objects in like these shelter-like stations in the venue. So the visitor goes inside, it has this intro station, and then they go to the first station and they operate or use the tablets, and they can, as you saw in the videos, scale it, they can have a look on the details, they can rotate the 3D objects and so on. And they are projected on a textile. It's a semi-transparent net-like mesh fabric, and this creates a 3D effect and a special appearance on the objects. So the design of the stations allows the visitor to engage and to interact with these objects and to dive into the narrative itself. And the arrangement, as I said, and the architecture offers this spatial immersive experience. And so yeah, I think this is the most important, why people really need to go into the museum and not just see it on the screen. And yeah, I would say the overall, let's say, extraordinary experience is only possible when you enter the exhibition space.
Thanks a lot, Katalin. I think this we have had already some visitors in the exhibition, and the feedback was that they really appreciated and liked this innovative form, and I think it's something we will also include in future exhibitions. I think it's in new format we have been able to study and learn from, and I think it could be also a good extension to other exhibitions to have these digital representations and have the chance to include objects we could never show in Graz, like the wonderful figurines or the wonderful tapestry from Nicosia. So we are nearly at the end. So I was wondering whether there are questions we could answer before we conclude. So far, there is none in the chat. There is one. There is a question on how can one contribute to the digital collection? Thank you, Paula, for this question. I think Helene posted the link, and the link is the one with collection.reinherit-hub.eu. And I think this is where you find all the information, and also where you can upload your object. Helene, please.
Yes, I would also like to show you via screen share again in the digital collection where you can find the upload. So when you're inside the digital exhibition, you have on the side this menu button, and there's an a menu option called Contribute, which tells you everything you need to know about contributing to the digital collection. And you have a Contribute button that takes you into the contribution form. And I will post a direct link also in the chat.
So you can see it's rather simple. And we have a question. Yeah. Thank you, Chiara.
Exactly, thank you, Chiara. Chiara also posted the open call, let's say, how you can contribute with the brochure we created all together. And it also gives you more information about how to contribute to the digital collection. So feel free to visit the link as well, which Chiara just posted into the chat.
We are waiting a second if there are other questions. I think we could start with saying thank you and see whether in the meantime there is still another question coming in. So Katalin, can I please hand over to you for the many thanks we have and we want to say to this wonderful, great and team.
Yeah. So I won't be able to name everyone who was part of the project because so many people have contributed to this project, but I want to name a few people. And first of all, obviously, our partners from the Museum of Cycladic Art and the Bank of Cyprus Cultural Foundation. So thank you, Marina Plati, Nefeli Vantela, Eleni Marku for the collaboration, for the great collaboration with you. Nefeli and Eleni are also in the small windows. Thanks a lot. You also had some help from Maria Basagiani, who also took part in the meetings, and she's the contemporary art exhibition manager. And Hara Marantiru was your designer and architect who helped to implement and edit the design to your spaces, to your exhibition spaces. And also important that your IT manager, Stamatis Manikis, thank you to you. I think everybody can imagine that such a digital exhibition is not easy to implement. So there is a lot help, IT help needed. Thank you, Irini Kenkin from the Bank of Cyprus Cultural Foundation for the great collaboration as well. You came later to the project and curated the whole exhibition. So thank you for the cooperation. Thank you as well to Ioana Tchaikovsky, who is the director of the Bank of Cyprus Cultural Foundation and also partly coordinating the project. And thanks also to Monica Azimenu. I had the a pleasure to also meet both of them. She's a postdoctoral researcher and also part of the ReInHerit team. And Lara Alpas, who's your designer and who also edited the design to your spaces, exhibition spaces. So thank you. Thank you a lot as well to Studio Itzo, who designed the whole exhibition, and we are working with them for already more than 1 year, and they helped us with visualizing the process, the graphic design, the exhibition architecture, and they supported us in many more things, also the poster, which is seen behind me. So thanks a lot for your work. Thanks a lot, and also to make everything accessible, like the brochures and so on. Thanks also to Tronic, who were the programmers of the 3D application. Tronic, named Clemens Stoll and Corinna Schana, who mainly programmed this app. Yeah, it's also not easy to work with so many collaborators from different countries. So thanks a lot for your work. Thank you, Chiara Zuani. I named her before because she was putting the link into the chat, and her team of the ZIM and the University of Graz. She was also consulting us in many steps, and we collaborated very well with her. And she was also programming the digital exhibitions for all of us, and with the design help of Tronic of Corinna Schana. And yeah, thank you for your constant help and support. Thank you, Marco Bertini, and for and your team, the whole team, and Paolo Mazzanti as well, to create this smart lens. It was seen in the video of the Graz Museum. Yeah, thank you for your contribution and help and for the collaboration. I also want to thank Angela Fink, who was creating the education program from the part of Graz Museum, which takes place here, and Edin Javorac and Herbert Gottin, who implemented the exhibition here in Graz. Thank you, Helene and Antonia. Sibylle said it already. For thanks really for the collaboration and your work. It wouldn't be possible to realize a digital collection or a digital exhibition without you. And last but not least, Sibylle, thank you. Thanks a lot for curating the exhibitions together, for managing the project together, and for taking over today the moderation. Thanks a lot to you. And yeah, I also want to thank Martina Pock and Martin Hammer, who today made the technical support for the online opening. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much, Katalin. As in the meantime, no other questions came in, I think we are closing up. Thank you very much for staying with us tonight. I hope you got interested, and if you're interested, please follow us on the hub, ReInHerit Hub. Please follow us also on our respective websites of the three museums, and please spread the call and the information on the collection in order to help us with getting in more objects for the collection. If any one of you might be interested in taking over the traveling exhibition, one or all of them, so please contact us, and we'll help you with getting through it. There will be also all the information on the digital hub to download, so you get all the designs, the plans, etc. So we would be very happy if one or the other museum will take the exhibitions over, and if you decide then to adapt, adopt, and enlarge it, expand it with your own objects. So thank you very much again. Have a very good evening, and see you hopefully in one or the other space. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.